You know him, the shadow pacing behind closed curtains at 3 a.m., playing back her words like a broken record, searching for hidden meanings in silence. This isn't about heartbreak. This is about haunting, a ghost of yourself you can no longer recognize. The man who once knew his own voice now speaks only in echoes of her approval. But here's what will chill you to the bone. A Danish philosopher saw this coming over 150 years ago. His name was Søren Kierkegaard, and what he whispered about men and women will unravel everything you thought you knew about love. Kierkegaard wasn't some bitter celibate. He was a man who loved deeply. Regina Olsen was her name. Beautiful, brilliant, everything he desired. But he walked away, not because he was cruel, because he saw what staying would cost him, his soul. Most men today make the opposite choice. They stay and pay the price, slowly, quietly, completely, until one day they wake up and wonder where they went. Listen carefully. The most dangerous destruction happens without sound. No screaming, no drama, no obvious wounds. Just a man gradually becoming smaller, adjusting his truth to fit her comfort, editing his dreams to match her vision. Kierkegaard called this the sickness unto death. Not physical dying, but spiritual vanishing. You're breathing, but are you living? Or just performing life for an audience of one? Kierkegaard mapped the journey of human existence. 3 stages. Most men never escape the first. Stage 1, the aesthetic. You live for pleasure, for her smile, for the high of being chosen. You scroll through her photos like prayers. Send good morning texts like offerings. Apologize for emotions she created. This isn't love. This is addiction. And she can feel it. Stage 2, the ethical. You think commitment means sacrifice. That being a good man means becoming less. You carry the weight of us while she floats free. You initiate every conversation. Fix every crack in her mood. Become the emotional janitor of her world. Still not love. Still not freedom. Stage 3, the religious. Here's where most men never venture. This is where you submit only to something eternal. Not to her moods. Not to her approval. Not to her version of who you should be. You become complete. Without her. Despite her. Beyond her. She doesn't need to control you directly. That's amateur hour. The real power move is simpler. She convinces you that your sacrifice proves your worth, that your silence shows maturity, that your shrinking demonstrates love. And you believed it because you wanted to be chosen, more than you wanted to be yourself. The cruelest part? She doesn't do this maliciously. She does it instinctively, because a woman can sense when a man orbits her, like a dying star. All heat, no light. There's a precise moment when the power changes hands. When she realizes you need her more than she needs you, the dynamic flips, the respect dies, the attraction withers. You're no longer a man. You're a boy with a beard, begging to be chosen, again and again. And deep down, you know it. The ache in your chest isn't heartbreak. It's a scream of your abandoned self. Here's what will keep you awake tonight. She never loved you. She loved what you did for her, the stability you provided, the chase you gave her, the validation you offered. But your solitude, your depth, your authentic self, she never met him because you never showed him. You gave her performances instead. Kierkegaard wrote in his diary, "I had to break with her or lose myself completely." That sentence should be carved into every man's mind, because the moment you feel you have to die a little to keep a woman from leaving, you're not in love, you're in prison. Kierkegaard called it the leap of faith, not blind devotion to religion, but radical trust in yourself. When no external guarantee exists, imagine this. She threatens to leave, and you open the door, not with anger, but with peace, because you finally understand. A bond secured by fear is not a bond. It's a hostage situation. This is what you become. An ordinary man with extraordinary inner strength who moves through the world quietly, but cannot be moved by it. People see nothing spectacular, but inside, you've made the most decisive act possible. You've chosen to be yourself, before God, before her, before everyone. Here's the twist that will rewrite your understanding. A woman may leave a needy man, but she will circle back to a sovereign one. If not her, then another, because wholeness is gravity. Desperation repels, but authentic strength magnetizes. Look at who you were. The boy who sent long texts explaining himself, to a woman who had already emotionally departed. The one who tolerated disrespect to avoid sleeping alone. The one who thought her body was redemption. You don't need to hate that boy, but you must bury him. He is no longer welcome in the man you're becoming. She cannot save you, even if she wanted to, even if she swears she loves you, because no woman can rescue a man who has made her his meaning. You were never made to be her emotional servant, her eternal suitor, her validation machine. You were made to be the flame, the mountain, the silence that doesn't beg to be understood. Sometimes you must be the one who walks away, not from bitterness, but from devotion to something larger than romance, something more eternal than her approval. When you live like this, something magical happens. Women stop seeing you as a servant and start sensing you as a force. The manipulation stops working, not because you outsmarted it, but because you no longer need anything from it. Kierkegaard's final whisper echoes through time. Face the fact of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. You are not her puppet, her emotional sponge, her perpetual audience. You are the author of your own becoming, the keeper of your own flame, the guardian of your own soul. This is what Kierkegaard knew. This is what he whispered, and now you know why it haunts. The choice is yours. The mirror is waiting. The path is clear. Will you finally walk it? But wait, there's more blood to be drawn from this wound, more truth to be excavated from the ruins. You think you understand now, but Kierkegaard's whisper cuts deeper still, into the marrow of masculine delusion. Most men mistake intensity for depth. They confuse obsession with devotion. The aesthetic man, that's you, lives in a perpetual state of romantic fantasy. You don't love her. You love the story she completes. The narrative where you're the hero, the protagonist who wins the prize. But heroes don't beg. Heroes don't apologize for existing. Heroes don't reshape themselves like clay. In the hands of their supposed beloved, you thought becoming ethical meant commitment, taking responsibility, being the stable one, the provider, the protector, the problem solver. But Kierkegaard laughs at this interpretation. True ethics isn't about serving her dreams. It's about serving your own integrity, even when it costs you everything, especially when it costs you everything. The ethical man commits to truth, not to comfort, not to keeping the peace, not to maintaining the illusion. Here's where most men's minds break, because they think religious means following rules, submitting to external authority, becoming smaller in service to something greater. Wrong. Dead wrong. Catastrophically wrong. The religious man submits only to the eternal within himself, the God spark that refuses to be extinguished by her moods, by her demands, by her version of love. This is the man who can say, I love you, but I will not disappear for you. I desire you, but I will not die for you. I choose you, but I will not be chosen by you. Let's dissect the mechanics of your destruction, because she doesn't need to be conscious of it. The system runs itself. First, she compliments your sacrifice. You're so good to me. You're not like other men. You really understand me. Each word is a chain. Each praise is a reduction. Each thank you is a funeral for who you used to be. Then comes the testing. Small requests that grow larger. Boundaries that shift like sand. Standards that rise like flood waters. You meet each demand, thinking you're proving your worth, but you're actually proving your weakness. And she can smell it. Women have evolutionary radar for desperation. It's a survival mechanism. A desperate man is a dangerous man, not because he might hurt her, but because he might drag her down. When you orbit her like a dying satellite, when you hang on her every word, when you treat her silence like torture, you're broadcasting your insufficiency, and no amount of gifts, no length of loyalty, no depth of sacrifice can mask that signal. Here's what will shatter your remaining illusions. Most of what you called love was actually need. Most of what you called connection was actually projection. Most of what you called intimacy was actually performance. You love how she made you feel. You love the completion she provided. You love the identity she gave you. But did you love her? The woman behind the image? The person beyond projection? The individual separate from your fantasy? Be honest. The answer is probably no. Watch the pattern. You give more. She expects more. You sacrifice more. She respects less. You try harder. She cares less. Until you're a hollow shell, performing devotion you don't feel for a woman who stopped seeing you, long before you stop seeing yourself. This is the cycle Kierkegaard warned against. This is the death spiral of the aesthetic man. This is why he walked away from Regina. But here's the miracle. You can resurrect yourself, even from the deepest grave, even after the longest death. Start with radical honesty. Admit you've been performing. Admit you've been needy. Admit you've been afraid. Then comes the harder part. Stop performing. Stop needing. Stop being afraid. Not all at once, but one choice at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. Learn to be alone, not lonely, alone. In solitude, you remember who you are, without her validation, without her approval, without her presence. In solitude, you discover your voice, your thoughts, your desires, your direction. In solitude, you become dangerous to manipulation, to control, to the entire system that depends on your weakness. Here's the paradox that will blow your mind. The moment you stop needing her to stay, she'll want to stay. The moment you stop fearing her leaving, she'll fear losing you. This isn't manipulation. This is natural law. Desperation repels. Self-possession attracts. But by then, you might not want her anymore, because you've tasted something better. Your own completeness, your own sufficiency, your own strength. Kierkegaard's ultimate message wasn't about women. It was about you, about the eternal responsibility of becoming who you truly are, before God, before others, before death. Every relationship is a test. Will you remain yourself, or will you become someone else's version of yourself? The choice is always yours. The mirror is always waiting. The path is always clear. But the walking, that's up to you.